You're about to listen to the award-winning Stuart Pedasso Show. This show is for biologically and emotionally mature audiences. If you should not be here, please go away. We'll still be here when you're mature enough to partake. Mwah!
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Stuart Pedasso Show. I know you're shocked. We're here.
We're here.
I'm Dave.
I'm Carrie.
And Melissa's still on assignment. In theory, maybe next week, we're going to give that a shot. She's going to give it a shot. We'll see if she'll be back. But she's coming back. Don't worry.
Eventually. She'll be here.
Yeah. So, if you're a listener from back in the day, which goes back at least, 6 or so years. I mean, the show's been around 18.
18?
Yeah.
Wow.
18 years.
It could vote.
Yeah. Lord only. If only. So, then you remember about 6 years ago, the last time I ran for local office, the podcast would be a little on the sporadic side. It looks like that's going to be happening again. Just stuff, schedules are tightening up. And it got to the point where I had 4 things on my calendar to do Thursday evening. Mm-hmm. And my body just said, yeah, bro, you ain't doing any of them. And by 4 o'clock, I was out.
Yep.
In the afternoon. So, which I'm a little bummed about. It could have been any other day but that day. But so I'm all over the place, and every once in a while, schedules aren't just going to match between us, and nobody wants to hear me just ramble for an hour. So, that's good. So we didn't have a show last week, and we're just going to go week to week. And if we miss one, you always have old shows. You have Stuart Pedasso Radio that's on 24/7, and read a book.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Speaking of reading books,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
no, there's no.
Oh, okay.
Always
Okay.
here. So, you can. So I posted something on my social media, and I need to kind of spread this around, maybe leech it into Stuart's. So with that Buy Nothing Day or whatever that happened last week.
Mm-hmm. That Monday? I think it was a Monday. Did it fall on a Monday?
I don't know.
Yep.
I mean, all the things we weren't supposed to buy. Oh, you know what? I did not plan well, and I actually had to buy something.
No, it wasn't a Monday. I think it was a day. Oh, I planned really well to do it.
Well, if I didn't,
It was a Friday.
It was I had to get gas.
Oh, I even around it.
Again, I've been so busy campaigning that I just realized, it's this morning of this. Other than that, I've been buying anything.
I actually drove home and went, crap, I'm not doing it in the morning. Yes, it was a Friday, I think. And I went back out to do it. But I did wait so that I could go to my local grocery store that day and purposely purchase from them.
So, look, that day's over. And people are like kind of going, well, okay, great. One day, now what? Well, here's the thing. You can actually get by, do things, and you might even find it's even better without going to those huge names, places. Like if you're a reader, I put in my social media, and like I said, I got to move this over to Stuart, a list of different places where you can read stuff online for free, generally. Go start using your library. Get a library card if you don't already have one. There's other places to listen to music, even the current stuff, right? That all the kids are listening to that is not Spotify.
Yep.
That's not any of those big places.
Yep.
If you want to get some, and we've talked about this here, and actually I can speak to this about in a second. A activist-y version of Netflix. Yes, it is not free, but at least your money's not going to some big corporation, something that's more collectively run, and that's Means TV, means.tv. You can check them out. And speaking of which, I had this idea one day, because as I was watching them, they have I think it's Monday through Friday, news update, like a 15-minute kind of news headline-y type thing.
Okay.
And they put it out. It usually gets into your email about 11 o'clock in the morning, right? So you can catch the main headlines from a more lefty or more, I hate that term, but from a more humanist. That's my going to use more
like
humanist
that.
perspective.
Okay.
But again, it's part of Means TV, so you have to pay for it for the subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on a whim, I just kind of emailed them and said, "Hey, look, I'm a teacher, and there's so many teachers that use either CNN's 10-minute version that's focused on school-age kids, or the guy who used to do CNN 10, his name's Carl Lazus, who just seemed to disappear from it one day.
Wow.
No one knew what happened to Carl Lazus. And all of a sudden, I discovered Carl Lazus said, well, I don't know how this happened. Either he decided to leave CNN or CNN decided to part with Carl Lazus. Carl Lazus started his own 10-minute news thing. It's on YouTube. And actually, in comparing, my students like the Carl Lazus version and not the CNN 10 version. And I actually agree. But I reached out to Means TV and just sent them a generic email and said, hey, I'm a teacher. I love what you guys are doing. CNN has that CNN 10, and maybe you guys would think about creating a daily 10-minute thing for students that, that teachers could use in their classroom that has a little bit more of a humanist perspective, not just whatever the corporate line is, because the CNN version
CNN's has morphed into...
I would show it, and then there would be at least twice in every 10-minute episode I'd have to stop and go, okay, here's what they're not telling you.
Right.
And Carl Lazus is relatively better. Maybe it's once every few days I got to stop and say, okay, here's what he's missing.
Right.
But from this perspective, I would hope Means TV wouldn't need to. So I sent that over a month ago.
Okay.
Didn't think anything about it. Just yesterday, I got a response.
And?
Well, I read it really quick. I haven't had a chance to sit down. I'm going to do that this weekend. They were wondering what my thoughts were. Like they were basically saying, flesh this out more. Would he give it? So they weren't saying there's no way.
Maybe they were wondering if you're baiting them.
No.
Oh, okay.
I
never
said,
know these days.
No, I said, look, I understand just from the things I do, people always have their 2 cents on what you should be doing. Right? So I'm not just telling you what you should be doing. I'm more than willing to help in some way.
Okay.
And I don't know what that would mean. Hell, maybe they'll give me a job. And I could be the new Carl Lazus.
There you go.
The lefty is Carl Lazus.
Maybe you've been led to this particular place. Well, what do you think about NPR?
As long as they have health care.
No,
they're pretty corporate now too.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Dagnabbit.
Yeah.
Darn it.
It's in relative terms, they're better than CNN or MSNBC, but they still get a lot of their funding from oil companies, and
are they at least a little more accurate?
They leave things out that give you on purpose. They give you a certain perspective. They're definitely pro-war. They definitely give you the government side of fighting.
It's just hard to find.
Yeah. No, it totally is.
Yeah. Just very hard to find information.
And we have posted links to places.
I would like to ask your opinion on that. One day, blackout, whatever. I've noticed a lot of people loving to point out, ooh, one day, ooh, we really gave it to them. And I thought the point was not to give it to the man, so to speak, but to say, hey, when we get together, look what we can do in one day. So keep that in the back of your mind, sir. Basically, what we're saying is, if we wanted to, and we want to get together, we do have some power. That was the message. I think that they were trying, a lot of people, like especially on certain social media places, trying to say, oh, big deal. If in one day people, it's not going to get them where it hurts. But that wasn't necessarily the point. The point was to send a message that if we really wanted to band together, we really could hurt you. Did I miss that?
No, I think it was. I don't think there was one thing. I think there was more than.
There was more. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And I have to be honest with you. I really didn't pay close enough attention to who was the driving force between making it go viral. I did not see what that was.
So I think it really did just snowball into something. And I think that was the point, was like, hey, maybe think twice about what you're doing.
I would like to think people got out of there, hey, you know what? I actually didn't need to fucking go to Target.
Exactly. Because
I can get
I think there's a lot. I'm hearing a lot of people saying, hey, and it's been spreading a lot. And there are a lot of people starting to say, I really don't need to support these things.
And you don't need like a viral movement on social media to do a one-day thing. Just go, hey, you know what? I don't have to get my books from Amazon.
But it's also, people are also saying things like, not only I don't need to support them, but turning around and saying, you know what? I also need to start looking at my neighbors and my community.
Yes.
That they haven't done in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So they might have just shot themselves in the foot.
And is my
Big time.
And I know I keep like focusing on this one thing, but there's so many people. Like, do I like look? I'll admit myself, and I have tried to reduce my commercial consumption of this. But I mean, I have got, which is so funny because I was never a coffee person, but somehow since the pandemic, I really do. I mean, I've always been like a caffeine consumer, and I've gotten away relatively, especially at least from what I used to, in terms of getting my caffeine through means of soda,
Right.
Diet usually. Like I'm not doing the sugar, but still, nevertheless, that's like car battery kind of chemicals in that.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but less of that, and trying to do morning. I'm getting, because there's also supposed to be some health benefits to coffee as well. But I don't. Something about hot coffee just doesn't really do it for me. Even in the winter, I'm doing
iced
iced.
coffee is
Yeah. So and black. I'm not even putting junk.
Have
in
you
it.
done cold brew yet?
Yeah, but you know what? I've
It's
actually,
not as acidy.
It's not, but it also doesn't seem to like taste as good to me. I don't get as much flavor from it, so I've gone to iced coffee instead of cold brew. But anyway, so from when I first started during the pandemic, I'll use the names. I started doing I'm never a big Starbucks fan anyway, but fuck Starbucks. Just in general, they treat their workers horribly. They're unbelievably anti-union. Just fuck them. And so, of not doing Starbucks, but I was using Dunkin'. And then finding out that they've got a bunch of things that are supportive of genocide, I kind of went away from them. And I know this is more of a Northeast kind of thing, focusing on Tim Hortons, which is originated in Canada, but it is a corporate thing. And now from now going, you know what, maybe Tim Hortons if there's nothing else, or if I'm in a hurry kind of thing, but I'm going to try and do this at home more. And I'm actually doing way more at home. And I suck at it. It's not nearly as good or consistent, but at least I know I'm doing it on my own. I can control where the coffee came from.
Right.
And so just making those one kind of change thing, one thing at a time. So again, if you're someone who buys books, if it's online, even if it's ebooks, and I think Amazon just or Kindle or Audible and whatever, they're about to say you can't save any more books that you've paid for, and so folks were saying you better hurry up and download them because like at the end of the month you're not going to be able to do it anymore
After you pay for the book.
Yeah, right.
That's ridiculous.
I know. So it's just going. That's what spurred me to make that list of free places you could get online books. So I'm like, okay, so
what amazes
whatever
me,
you do, try to find it. Look, you're not going to be able to make serious lifestyle changes all at once. That never pans out. You never stick with it. It's like a diet or a workout program. If you make gigantic changes just on turning on a dime, you never stick with it.
But our public library, I think you can download books from the library. I mean, and these are things that you can make changes at your local level.
Absolutely. Of anything, the type of food you buy, where you get your food. Yeah, I mean, the stuff about transportation is a little bit more difficult because there's not too many local gas stations anymore. Maybe once in a while you can
I don't know.
find one.
There's a crap load of people about to be out of a job. Maybe they're going to start opening them.
But even there, I mean, you can still make some discernment or decide not to drive as much, or if you can. I mean, I feel, man, I would love to use public transportation more. Problem is, a few problems. One, I work a half an hour away. There is no public transportation there. And I'm so, with this campaign, going to 2-3 different things every evening, I can't wait for a bus. In this town, buses only come once an hour, whereas in big cities where public transportation is a little more viable, you can probably get something every 10, 15 minutes.
Is there a way we can do a rideshare program that's local?
Mm-hmm. There is actually there's some open source software that could allow a local cooperative to start their own rideshare program. I've mentioned it in, I think, my last campaign, but I haven't really been a huge driver of it. I mean, rideshare is cool, but I mean, I would really rather focus on making our public transportation better. Man, because it really sucks here in Rochester.
Well, it does, but not many people use it, and that's why a lot of people don't want to transfer downtown because it's so dangerous. But you'd be surprised at
People
how
think
many
it's dangerous. It's actually not, but people think it is.
just thinking it
I know
keeps
that.
people from using it.
Carrie, I understand that.
But I'm just saying there's a lot of people that use rideshare, but there's a lot of people that are employed by doing rideshare as well.
Yeah, no, I understand. But there is open source software that any group can use that wants to start a cooperative rideshare program. Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if you can do both at the same time. Because how are we going to improve public transportation?
Well, in theory, the rideshare thing, that would be a group of people who wanted to, like citizens who would want to start that. But a municipality could do that on their own too if they wanted to take that initiative. I mean, but the public transportation thing is definitely government based. That you would to have more, to understand that. I don't want to get into the weeds because it's going to get real. No, it's just in terms of local politics, because to talk about here, to do it in a mid-sized city in the United States, which we have a bus system that sucks because we're not a huge city. So the scale, it would lose money.
That I guess that's why I'm saying it. I don't think it's viable here.
No, but that's the thing I'm saying is, so what? It's not. Look, this isn't a for-profit thing. This is an investment in the community. The benefits, yes, it will cost more money than it will bring in. Yes. So what? So the benefits it provides in terms of the quality of life, reduction of pollution, less wear and tear on our roads, all the other things, I think if you took those costs, I think it would also save us.
I understand what you're saying, but there's a lot of people that don't want to use it. Therefore, if they won't use it, it is of no value.
If we're going to wait for a mass demand, it will never happen. Because that's what because our town and many others, our city, are set up as a driving culture. We would have to build it and then promote it so that it becomes, this is going to sound cheesy, but it becomes the in thing to do.
Correct. Do you see that happening?
Well, no, because there's no politicians that'll do it.
But we're already built as a driving community.
It's going to take the will of people who get into office.
Okay.
Like maybe some Greens.
Okay. Or we could get into rideshare and just get cars that are more sustainable and share rides, like more than one or two people in a car at a time, and do it that way as we get our way that way.
As whatever will take in the change of culture.
I think baby steps.
Well, for right now, we're taking no steps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and
instead of one person in every car everywhere.
Same thing with buying books. Same thing where you get your food. Any of that stuff, right?
Because they tried the electric bikes. They tried all that stuff's not working. It's a waste. It was a total waste, and they're destroying them. But people Uber everywhere. People that have no money, all they can do is Uber. And they throw away money doing that.
Well, and that's not even working out well. I mean, I'm seeing on my social media feed people who use the ride sharing complaining about the cost and like, I can't do it. I can't take $40
and the people that
for
work,
a ride to go to work. Yeah.
And the people that work Uber are getting ripped off by the people that run it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. It's such a need. I'm wondering if there's a way to do it as not as a nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a need.
All right, so part of my campaign for city council is using economic development money to, boy, this is not really funny or sexy, is it, folks?
Wow, I
That's
know.
All right.
I'm sorry.
No, there's no sorry. Sometimes we're sexy and sometimes we're serious. Sometimes serious is sexy.
Sure.
Okay.
What else?
I've been calling for using economic development money rather than giving it to developers to build buildings we don't need, to start cooperatives where whatever the businesses that we need, usually grocery stores and food deserts, to be cooperatively owned by the people who work there. The workers own the business.
Mm-hmm.
We could use those economic dollars to start a cooperatively owned rideshare using that open source software.
I mean, we used to have taxi companies. It's the same idea, so to speak.
We still do. They just don't get used as much.
But what I mean is it's the same idea of where there's one place where people are, but they go on multiple. I mean, I have an idea. Same thing with, there was somebody I used to work with, and he had this idea of old school buses, but turn them into hydroponic growing stations of fruits and vegetables, or basically vegetables, to go to food deserts, and just, like, just things, thinking outside the box. I don't know. Food that can be like, I don't know, homemade food that people can buy at the corner store.
Yeah.
That people don't have to worry about getting, not arrested, but cited for selling food without a license, kind of thing. But being able to streamline doing stuff like that.
For years, my thing was take all this empty land that we have in the city, it's like huge tracts where there used to be houses, making sure the soil is okay, and then, again, economic development, helping people who live in the neighborhood create an urban farm, not gardens, an actual farm that they all own and run, and they would sell the food local, right in the neighborhoods. I mean, that creates jobs. It's better for the environment. It helps in terms of the food desert. I mean, they could grow some of that stuff and then sell it to neighborhood restaurants as well. I mean, it could create more economic development just off of, not just from that one urban farm,
right,
but the local stores around in the area, bakeries, restaurants, whatever.
I mean, bring back those mom and pop, like, little restaurants would be awesome. Like, there's so many people in our area that sell, like, they sell, and it's these little Facebook, and they have to jump all over the place, but they sell plates all the time, like, so and so's cooking, who wants this dinner, who wants that dinner. It's just to make extra money, but they can't advertise it as well, and it's the best freaking food, but they can't. But it's just, I don't know. It's a shame that these people can't actually get not a real business, but it's a shame. It's just a shame that.
Well, we don't focus on that at the government level. We could be using our resources to do that.
Yes, we should. Yeah. And certain people don't get the same breaks or foot in the door that others do.
So to help do that, let me ask, to help spur some of that on, and if I could get into office, help kind of create some of that. So let me ask you, because this will be it. This will be the thing that puts my campaign over the top. I don't remember. Are you going to march with us in the St. Patrick's Day Parade next week?
I don't think I can. I can't get the day off of work. I forgot to put in for it.
Oh, that's right.
And I asked him today, and he actually gave me that sad look and said, I really need you.
That's fine. So I was, this is one thing that's not in my power to do anything in terms of time or day. It's going to be interesting. So the Green Party here used to be in the St. Patrick's Day every year, and it's Rochester, New York in mid-March. You never know what it's usually, sometimes it's rained, sometimes it's snowed, sometimes it's just been cold, and then sometimes it's been like 65, 70.
Yep.
So
never know. Wednesday is supposed to be 67.
Right. So
or 65, yeah.
Real quick, I'm going to go to weather.com.
Yep.
And let's just see what now I get.
You pull up one, I'll pull up another, and it'll be interesting because it depends on which site you go on. It's always a different one.
For the 10-day, looking ahead, we've got Saturday. Come on, dude, no. I will so take this. Oh my, 65 cloudy, 17% chance of rain.
I got 61, sun through the high clouds. Real feel though, 55.
Dude, I got this. I was just outside and freezing my ass off at a protest.
And I'd say I'd call in sick, but with my luck, somebody I work for or work with would be there and see me.
So check this out. Well, I will save you a t-shirt. So first of all, we will have brand new Day for Change t-shirts.
Very nice.
They're green this time, not white, and there's no dates on. It's just Dave Setlefades for City Council, and then the website. There's nothing on the back. I remember those other t-shirts.
Oh, those are so cool.
Yeah. Well, again, I screwed up with the graphic from the last time I ran because it has the date of the election, which is never the same every year. So it's kind of outdated. I made a rookie mistake in a way, but it wasn't. I think I didn't care because I really thought that was the last time I was ever going to run. Mm-hmm. I didn't think I was ever going to need those t-shirts again.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I hadn't. It'd been 6 years.
The optimism.
No, I just thought I needed to do other things, to do my activism in other ways.
Oh, okay. I see. All right.
And I keep saying this just to give myself some cover. This campaign was not my original idea. This was the wife's. Yep. She did start it, so it's all her fault.
Okay.
So anyway, new T-shirts. They're green, not white with green letters this time. Went the other way. And
green with white letters.
Yep. And so we're going to. Your spaghetti sauce stains won't show up.
Nice.
Right, I know.
Nice.
I don't. In all my campaigns I've run, I don't usually get white shirts either. For some reason, I think the graphic would show up better. I think that's why I did it that way.
Okay.
So we're going to have T-shirts, and so check this out. The Green Party has gotten their spot in the parade. Mm-hmm. And then since then, we have latched on with the I always butcher the name. The Party for Socialism and Liberation, PSL, who we have an affinity with, like nationally, actually, not just locally. And they're on board, and they're a small group, but they do an amazing job. And they're going to be marching with us, as well as the folks who are not in PSL but have been showing up every Saturday to protest war profiteering to the genocide in Palestine.
Gotcha.
So we've got a lot of different people joining the Green Party to do this. Now, I put down we will only have 20 people. We could double that.
Wow.
And they're not going to get mad, but I was like, I really did not expect when I signed up to get us in the parade, I really thought it was just going to be the Green Party, and I was hoping for 20. Wow. Maybe some more campaign people, but now there's going to be a ton of folks, because if you didn't know this, there is this affinity, the struggle of people in Ireland against England, and
still.
Oh yeah, still. And,
I mean, I know.
And
away,
Palestinians and their struggle is there, and there's really a connection there. And Ireland has been seriously fierce in terms of defending Palestine. They've closed the Israeli embassy in Ireland, and they turned the building into a Palestine museum.
Really?
Yeah, they're like not fucking around.
That's
kind of
kick ass, actually.
So when the idea of this, so we're going to have signs. That we're going to have Day for Change signs. We're going to have a couple of Green Party things, and we're going to have signs. In fact, I got going to think to make more signs on Tuesday. That shows that connection between Ireland and Palestine. So it's going to be a pretty big group. It's going to be a kick-ass. And the fun thing is, as political as we're going to be, most of the people watching are just going to be drunk anyway and not going to care.
Right.
Like, they're not going to get pissed. They're going to be like, woo, it's green.
Right? I know. They're going to be clueless.
Well, I don't know about that.
No. You're right.
But
they'll see green and not know.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. And then they'll be confused.
Right. So it's going to be.
And then see green again.
Yeah.
It's that whole attention span thing.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good time, and we're going to have fun with it. So while we kick ass. It's going to be, I'm going to really make sure, because some of the protests, the pro-Palestine stuff, can be a little graphic at times.
Ooh.
Like our signs have like, quote, fake, but blood stains on them, that kind of stuff. This is just going to be showing Ireland and Palestine, stop the genocide, Day for Change, Green Party. It's going to be it's going to be way more positive.
It's going to be interesting, actually, to tie Ireland. Yeah. So
it's going to
make them have to think. Oh, they'll be drunk, though. They have to think.
It's all good. Yeah, but
maybe it'll stick, and the next day they'll think.
We'll have pictures, and we'll put stuff on social media, and so it will last beyond that.
Okay,
without question, it's going to be cool. And then we'll do the same thing when the Pride Parade hits, and then when the Puerto Rican Parade, which I don't have a date for that yet. I have a date for the festival, but they haven't said when the parade's going to be. I assume that's Saturday, but they haven't specifically said. We can do the same thing because Puerto Rico's. Totally.
Are we going to be allowed to have
the
Pride Parade? I'm just kidding.
Yes, I've already signed up.
I'm kidding.
We're in it. We're already in it.
What did they tried to get rid of all the gay, the word gay out of all the military? Everything.
Oh my God!
Did you see that?
And
they went them neck. Yeah. Like, what are they going to do here?
Oh my God! People are.
They're so stupid. I'm so sorry. The stupidity is just.
It was someone's last name.
Oh my God.
It wasn't about gay. It was about someone's last name. There's an NFL player, I think he might have just retired. His last name was Gay. What are you going to do? Make him, banish him from the NFL?
Just so juvenile. That's truly what it is. I just bring it all down to it's professional wrestling. That's truly what it is. It's that middle school playground antics. It's that baseline.
Look.
I hate to say male, but testosterone.
No, it is.
playground, spit in your eye, take you out in the backyard.
Because the conservative women are now starting to find out, because the conservative guys are going after them too. They're including them in their little reindeer games. So they're trying so they're figuring it out too. Look, this is going to be pretty close to their last gasp. They are going so hog wild with this shit, with dumb shit like banning any pictures of the Enola Gay, which, by the way, I don't even care about that anyway, because that has to do with mass slaughtering of innocent Japanese anyway.
Exactly, right?
So, I'm kind of like, that's
woo-hoo,
stupid.
You kind of shot yourself in the foot again.
Like, that's dumb why you're doing it, but okay. This is, look, we have to be vigilant. I'm not saying no one should be, relaxed. We should be fighting all of this. But they're going so far over the top, and it's going to cause pain. It already is. Mm-hmm. But they're going so far over the top that, in theory, if people, we're really going to...
I heard somebody say that they think some people are just letting them almost give them enough rope, they're going to hang themselves type thing. And I don't know if
they already would have by now, though. That's the crazy thing.
I don't know. They got themselves into the databases, and they can F us up pretty bad. And that's my scary thought.
Well, okay.
And all that data and everything, poof, disappeared. How do we get it all back?
No, there's going to have to be some recreation. And look, I don't know this.
I know.
And I would need
we can go down a rabbit hole there.
I would need some IT folks to help me out with this, but really, there's got to be backups of shit somewhere.
No, they go in. You don't think he went in there almost?
No. What I mean is there are separate places where if most
they went in there with AI. You have no idea.
No, separate.
We don't know.
But that's the point. So if look, I'm not an IT person, but I do know your backups have to be separate, or else they're not really considered backups.
But we don't know if they had access to the backups.
Well, yes, that is true.
And Trump is, in theory, in charge of everything.
They delete whatever. We just has to get recreated. It's going to create pain. It already is. Right. But, this is where we are. There's no magic wand with a time machine or whatever. So, good. So the thing is, I'm going to look at this, even though with the pain that's coming, look at this as an opportunity to make shit that's better. Don't remake it to the way it was, because the way it was sucked too. Mm-hmm. Right? We still had people dying because they didn't have health care, or paying to anything for health care that should be a human right, or this fucking housing market the way it is.
What I'm saying is they're going to recreate it where we're all beholden to these powerful people.
No, we're going to have to fuck them up.
How?
No, kill them.
But they have power. They have control of the major weapons.
No, we're going to have to. Then there's going to need to be literal blood.
It's going to destroy our planet.
Okay. Well, they're not going to nuke us.
You think so? Well, you just need a couple crazies.
Then
we
that's
got
what
those
happens.
there. I know.
No more Stuart Pedasso show. Sorry.
Woo! Better make this one sexier then. If it's going to be the last few.
Nah, we'll wait till next month.
Okay. Not today. It's been a rough day.
Look, it is. Okay, when I say this, I don't mean to not do anything. When I say, and I hate this saying too, but this is the way it is. I won't say it is what it is. I was going to say it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah. But no, this is the way
truly is.
Things are. So and this is something that if you've been, if you've been listening to the show, I've been saying this for years. Look, are you ready to get involved yet? What else do you need to tell you need to get involved? This shit is the way it is because too many people have been worrying about their Starbucks. And I'm exaggerating to prove a point. But part of the reason...
Or worried about, is it a boy going in the girl's bathroom? Are you freaking kidding me now?
But I'm not even worried...
Or a boy going in the girl's bathroom. That's what they're so worried
about. Those people. Okay, I'm worrying about the people who, with the pussy hats from the last time Trump was around, who see themselves as these awesome humanists, but really won't do shit to really change society.
Well, those people were worried about going after the people worried about boys in the girls' bathroom.
Yeah,
they're too worried about fighting those people and not the regular people.
So, are you ready? How about now? Are you ready to start doing stuff to create a better society? Or because most of the people who wanted to just not have it go bad, just keep it the way it is, are privileged enough to have a comfortable life in the way the system is. But there are a huge number of people that even the good old days, the way things were under Obama or whoever, that weren't talking to people today. One dude, and he was talking to me about Green Party candidates for president, and not in a bad way. He was actually, man, we should have had more oomph in some of these. We should have more people behind them. Because, started talking about, okay, Obama. He really did nothing that was transformative whatsoever. So those folks who are still look at Obama like the good old days, right? They were privileged enough to not be totally screwed over. Look, there were gazillions of people. Okay, I made up a number. There was a huge number of people that do not see the time Obama was in office as the good old days. They got screwed over. I'm talking about Americans. And all right, so are we ready to create something better than what we had when a Democrat was in office? At what point? At what point? Are we?
But a president can only control so much. So you say it under.
I'm just talking about the times.
But when you say a president,
I'm trying to give people an idea of what time period I'm talking about. No, I understand that.
Okay.
Well,
not. But people don't understand that.
But
and they blame a president.
Hold on a second. Well, as I don't
credit a president, I should say.
But here's
unfairly.
The thing: when those presidents say, "Oh, but what can I just do? I'm just the president." I don't know. This one is now he's doing shitty stuff. But he sure is doing stuff that's changing things.
And he's doing it unconstitutionally.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that.
But see, now you're on a slippery slope right now.
All I'm saying is the ones that are saying and this discussion we've had before, where the ones who, like Biden had 2 years and so did Obama, where they had the president, they had the White House, and both houses of Congress. Mm-hmm. And still didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. Okay. Tell me what they did.
Do you know all of the facts of everything? Do you know what they attempted to do? Do you know what stopped them from doing some things?
Yeah, they're donors.
Because I don't.
I do. They're donors. Their donors are generally the same people who donate to the Republicans. Same corporations. There's nothing transformative that's going to happen with Democrats in office.
Okay. Well, we don't really have any other choices right now. We have no other choices.
When there are, that's not totally true. When there are, people won't take them.
Okay. We have no other realistic choices.
It's only not realistic because people won't make them realistic.
They're not realistic because people don't know these people.
Okay. Again, if someone's on a... Okay, let's use me. Uh-huh. This is a more local thing.
Yeah.
So if you go, well, I don't know this guy.
Right.
Yeah, but you probably don't know those Democrats running either, but you're just checking next to them because you see Democrats.
Exactly. So how do you change that?
I've been trying to for 30 years.
Exactly. Wow. So we got this. Right.
Well,
we don't know how to change it any other way.
Folks, people listening, people who are...
Okay.
Okay, but how many people slam doors in my face, metaphorically speaking anyway? There's only... If you have the choice... It's as a civic person, you have to take some responsibility to go look for some things.
So I still hear on TV, everywhere, Facebook, they still refer to, where are the Democrats? I have not heard anybody say, do we have a third choice? What if we turn to a third? Still nobody to this day talks about even a third choice. Well, so it's not even out there as much in the mainstream.
Well, because the mainstream has they have an investment in the way things are.
Okay. So it's going to take us affecting it money-wise. It's going to take the money needs to move it.
Welcome to the Stuart Badasso Show.
There you go. Okay. So that's what we need to talk about then. Okay.
That's what we've been doing. I don't understand, Carrie. That's what we've been doing.
I know. I'm just getting it. I don't think people realize that.
If you've been listening to the show, you do.
I'm new to the show. Remember, it's only been a couple years for me.
That's
new, isn't it?
No, because there's a dude
new to politics. I should say
there's a dude. I don't think I got it. Man, I apologize if we talked about this because we didn't do a show last week. So
they talk about social security being a Ponzi scheme. Politics is a Ponzi scheme.
A guy who is, and now that I didn't know him at the time, the last time we did a show, somebody reached out to me from Hawaii.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw the two of you. Yep.
And was like, hey, you want to come on the show? And I looked on my YouTube channel thing, and just out of nowhere, I didn't know this guy, and I know I have some connections to Hawaii, but he's on Oahu, and I was on Maui when I was there. So I didn't know him or any place he rolls. But, if you're a candidate, whatever, even though it's not a local thing, I know I go on a show, talk about it, and like you said, you saw, I put it on my social media. So it's a free press kind of thing. So I go on, and it turns out this guy was really into Bernie Sanders. And then about 2 or 3 months ago, realizing that's really not going anywhere, and he came into the Green Party. And because he'd already been doing YouTube stuff, he's like, well, now he's using his YouTube channel to start promoting Greens. Now, he had another Green on before me who was not Mr. Excitement by any means. I was like, okay, that's who you got. All right. I almost thought this guy was going to fall asleep on himself. Not the best person. Anyway, so my point is, doing that, and when you see something like that, spread it. If it's somebody who is spreading the word in a way that's a little bit more welcoming, or at least like energetic, us individually spreading those things that are on social media does help.
Right.
So his name's Jordan, and he has said to me, he says, dude, that was awesome. Come back next week. In fact, you want to come on the next few weeks? So we're recording on a Saturday. I'm going back on tomorrow.
Okay.
And from that, this other podcast contacted me and said, hey, do you want to come on? So on Monday, I'm recording another podcast.
Okay.
As a guest. And that's the type of thing that, and look, a lot of these outlets are owned by corporate douchebags. YouTube is Google. Other things are Facebook, and so is Instagram. And now that this media consultant has me doing Instagram reels, and I get it. And at some point, if any of y'all do contribute to my campaign, DaveChange.org, and of course, but some of that money is going to Zuckerberg. There will be,
you can't get around it.
Well, that's a discussion.
We have to pay our own government, and we don't always like that. So.
Well, this isn't government. This is a corporate, a rich guy who already has money. But if that's where people are, if I want to get into power, I'm trying to get as much free stuff first before later on I start paying to spread the word a little bit. So I'm trying to find that balance. And so in the meantime, look, forget me. Anything you see that you think is better, look, I get it. There's a lot of crap on social media, without question. But you do have some control over what comes into your feed. You can always block stuff and delete stuff and whatever, and you can promote things. And yes, sometimes the man, whether it's Zuck or shitbag Musk or whatever, will mess with algorithms or have his people mess with algorithms so that you don't get as much of a rise. But that means all the more. And I don't just mean me or Green Party, whatever it is you're promoting, even if it's Bernie, which I'm not going to get into that rant right now. You got to be a little more active in it, right? You got to start spreading that stuff.
You have to leave a comment, makes it go up higher, right?
Even liking helps, sharing helps, commenting, and again, not just on my stuff, not just on Green Party stuff. Whatever it is that you're trying to promote, or you want to get more out there. Poll after poll after poll, which I know you can manipulate a little bit, but are saying we want to. I see these comments all the time. Man, we need a third party.
See, I don't see them. I don't see them anywhere.
I totally do. I see them all.
I
almost
see
daily.
nothing. I ask people too. Even people I work with, like, what do you guys think about a third party? Oh, they don't do anything. Oh, there is one. What? I even mentioned Green Party. Oh, you mean the tree huggers? Like I hear things. No, they name parties by color and different area.
Well, so those
but
conversations.
I know.
Those conversations are what help.
I know.
Those conversations are more effective than seeing a paid ad on
Right. It just, I was surprised
or
at.
paid posts,
I've never noticed it as much, but I think it's been so ingrained in our country that there's only two, and it's purposefully that way because corporate America owns both.
Well, we've talked about in this city, in this town, there's only one. There's not even two.
I don't know. I think I think Republicans are starting to eat away.
Not in the city. Oh no, I promise you not.
They're trying.
No,
they're trying.
They're not. They're actually, there's pretty much one guy.
Let me rephrase that. I'm so sorry. Not maybe an actual city, but
no, I'm talking about in the city.
The suburbs is where they are.
Actually, they're losing ground in the suburbs too.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, they are.
Although the money, I don't know. Democrats are going the other way. I don't know. It's all about money. Everywhere is all about money. Oh my gosh.
So, and look, there are more of us. There actually are more of us than there are of them. I hate that us them thing, but there are more of us that don't want to see people killed, that want to see people have health care, that want to see people have housing and all that kind of jazz. There's more of us than there are of them. But they have more resources, they have more money, and they're not going to go quietly. Mm-hmm. So it's
that's the thing, and that's the biggest problem is they aren't going to go quietly. And for you to get what you want, like the public whatever, a public utility, somebody's got to lose for us to win. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to lose easily.
No. So in that thing about, so now this is now getting in local, but also New York State. So the laws to create a public utility in New York State, there's all these different hoops you got to jump through. And the first one is a feasibility study. So let's just say that happens. I get into office, I put up this legislation that says this $500,000 that you've just been sitting on, we're going to release it to do this feasibility study. They have it. It's just sitting there. Mm-hmm. They just won't pull
and
the trigger.
Feasibility study does what? Says whether it's worthwhile or not?
Yes. And
it's
it will.
Clearly worthwhile.
Right, I understand.
Good God.
I'm just telling you, that's what state law says. You have to do it.
Okay.
So we do it, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. It's a waste of money. Do it, but
is there any way it can come back saying it's not? Is there any way they can manipulate it to come back as
first
not?
Things first.
Got it.
Anyway,
yep.
Let's say yes, and we decide to go forth. Then comes you have to negotiate/mediate with the corporate entity how much we're going to pay for their stuff, the wires, the stations.
We can't just rebuild. Oh, that would cost way too much anyway.
No, and that wouldn't be feasible. And besides, just take the stuff that's already here.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that's where they're going to gum stuff up. They're going to. They're not, like you said, they're not going quietly. Nope, absolutely not. And it's going to take. And eventually, there's probably going to have to be lawyers involved, and it's going to drag out.
I'm going to say something really bad.
But there's no other way to do it. So you have to know what's coming up. You got to anticipate, and you got to get ready for this, and you cannot give up on this. And
yeah.
And eventually, again, unless there are serious nuclear weapons involved, bombing our own country, I mean, you just got to stick with this, and it's going to take years before.
Has it started yet?
No, I told you. I just said there's $500,000 that's Rochester. Now we're getting local. Sorry. Yeah. $500,000 that Rochester City Council has approved for this study, sitting there.
Why hasn't it started?
Because City Council won't do it.
Nothing.
No, City Council won't do it. The mayor's a banker. He's nothing. Everything's got to be corporate with him, so he's not motivated. There's like maybe 3 people on City Council who don't have the courage to fight for this. They want it, but they won't do it.
The public needs to know because everybody's bills just like tripled.
Yeah.
Just recently.
Yes.
They need to know that this crap is going on.
I'm doing that on social media. I'm trying to as part of my campaign. But I'm also trying to not be super obnoxious about it to turn people off.
But you don't need to be. Let us be obnoxious about it.
Feel free. You Dave for Change.
Alrighty then.
Dave for Change.
It's there. No. I need to go be shouting this stuff.
Yeah, my Facebook page, the Dave for Change, Facebook.com/Dave for Change. And there is stuff on there about the public utility, and that's what I need.
Well, right now,
I can do
people
something.
are talking, like somebody said from 400 to 900, their bill went up. Mm-hmm. Like somebody said they took their RG&E bill, went and put it in a bag of rice, hoping it would fix it.
Yeah.
Like it's out of control.
There's not even that.
So is there anything, can we pull a Trump on this company? Can we just like stop? Can we just get rid of it and just take their lines? Like, can't we just why not? He's doing it. If the president can act like this, let's take a page out of his book.
I would need some legal eagles, right? Who have a specialty.
Actually, I need to take that back. I'm sorry. I just had a very weak moment.
No, it's called eminent domain. And I've actually looked, not about the public utility, but I've actually looked up this about
that makes
housing.
us just as bad as but that makes us the people we don't like.
Well, no, the difference would be we're doing this to corporations where corporations do this to us.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah. So,
thank you.
So
it's like reverse discrimination.
But the use no.
I said it wrong. My bad.
The use of eminent domain, which we tend to take as like, okay, a city comes in and takes over somebody's house because they want to build a highway or something. Yep. But eminent domain has been used for other things as well. In fact, there was a Green mayor in Richmond, California. She got term limited out, but she used eminent domain against Chevron to take over some of their stuff because they were polluting so bad and wouldn't do anything about it.
I love that idea.
And it went through the courts. And it held up.
I was thinking the same idea. Somehow we should be able to take over our own stuff.
I looked up this about to get ready for around this time, so we can use eminent domain on housing that's already boarded up, even if it's privately owned, and say it's in the public interest for the city to take it over to fix it and give it to people who are homeless. And it's in state law that says it's allowed. So if anyone says, Dave, that's not what eminent domain's about, I got it bookmarked. I got the statute.
Or not just homeless. How about boarded up homes? You can turn around and sell them to people that are city employees, say teachers or somebody who can purchase. Oh, it has to be homeless?
No. I'm saying I looked at for a specific reason. I for my thing for my campaign. So in theory, if eminent domain can be used on boarded up housing, as long as it's for the public good, you can show that. So, and that is in New York state law. So, again, where you're listening to the show, assuming you're in the United States. Sorry, if out of country if you're listening somewhere else. Actually, if you're listening from somewhere else, you've probably changed podcasts.
Open lots.
Yeah, that would be the same. The only issue with that is the cost of building something new. I'm talking about structures that are already there. It's much easier.
But if you were to,
the city owns them.
What if? Oh, they do.
Well, city owns. Yeah. So. Okay. In fact, one of the campaign things I did in the last few reels or whatever on Instagram, I was going to these neighborhood association meetings, and the police usually go to these things and they do crime stats, and it's pretty funny because everyone I go to, even in the quote unquote bad neighborhoods, the police are saying, yeah, well, there's not much to report, crime's down. They're not saying it's done. There's nothing, but they're going, yeah, things are trending downward. Mm-hmm. But if you watch the local news, you'd never get that.
Right. Well, so, it's not newsworthy.
Right.
If it's
so one of the things they've been saying is that, yes, currently we are going around to the 1,500 boarded houses in the city. Some the city owns, some are privately owned, and we're making sure no one's squatting in there. And my thing is, why the F do we have 1,500 boarded houses when we have all these homeless families?
Not only homeless, but people that can't afford housing right now.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
And why not? You've got a city school district that is dying to teach trades to kids. Come on now.
There is.
I'm not saying we can do it in the homes, but good God,
no, we can. There's at least one. I want to say there's two, but I might be wrong on that. But I know for a fact there's one. There is a not-for-profit in Rochester. Which is not one of the cheesy ones, that specifically does that. They get kids into their program to learn how to do construction stuff.
You got any garages we can eminent domain so we can turn it into teach kids how to make cars, fix cars?
That I don't.
Restaurant, come on,
Well, if we can get people back on the school board, that'll turn Edison back into what it once was.
That's interested in running.
Okay, well, they need to get moving because if they're going to do it as a Democrat, they're petitioning now.
Yeah, probably next year. Do they do it every year?
Every 2 years.
Dang it.
Well,
she's worried about her. She's dealing with one of the schools in particular right now who she may have to go after legally.
Does she live in the city?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if she wants to run as a Green, we can start petitioning April 15th. So tell her to talk.
She's got a lot going on right now.
All right. Well, then never mind.
I don't know. She's pretty fired up.
Still, have her come talk to me.
She's a nurse practitioner too. She comes from the mental health field.
And
is fired up about the special education department in our district and the lack of. She just went through a whole bunch of nonsense.
All right, I'm going to turn our mics off for literally half a second, and then Carrie's going to tell me who this person's name is. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's her name?
What, the special ed person or
the person
that's running?
Carrie didn't quite get the cue here. Let me try this again. So when I turn the mic off, you're going to tell me this person who's fired up who might want to run for school board.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, the person's name is... Okay, I don't know her.
Nope.
So that's fine. So you should introduce me to this person and we'll talk.
Okay.
And look, even if she goes, no, I can only run as a Democrat because only Democrats win, that's fine. I'll still be happy to help her, give her advice.
I don't even think she's party affiliated.
Okay, well, that's...
Even better?
No, I'm just saying that runs into... Then we could talk later.
Okay.
I don't want to bore... Like if you've gone 55 minutes listening to this, you may be bored already, but... I know I'm trying not to pile on.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But totally.
I didn't even get to the main event.
Whatever. Trust me, it'll still be going on next week. Mm-hmm. I promise you.
You think?
Yeah. I think Ukraine will be going on next week.
Yeah, I think so.
So let me take this opportunity because we've been I didn't realize it, but we've been leading up to there. So you're listening to this, right?
I
right?
think so, right?
Why don't you run for office?
Hey.
Yeah. Why don't you do that? And if you say it would only be in one of the two corporate parties, okay, whatevs. There's
Why not?
On
then
occasion,
change it from the inside.
It doesn't usually work, but okay, give it a shot. I'd rather you ran and tried it than
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was my point was. And I think that's the rumblings I heard from the little bit I've been watching from the Democrat Party is that's what they've been saying is we're dying. And if we don't change things now, we're going to keep dying. And we aren't who we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Maybe there's hope for the Democratic Party because if we're so entrenched in this, we're only going to have two parties, which I think is ridiculous. Having two parties is ridiculous because that's how corporate America is taking us over. 3 parties is at least a way for American citizens to survive because they can't control us with 3. In my opinion.
You can show me how I'm wrong on this, but I don't think you can. The largest, most organized third party that we have that would be a challenge is the Greens. Just numbers wise, how long we've been around, that kind of thing. I would, if you're still like folks you talk to, tree huggers, I go to gp.org. That's a very simple thing, and look at the platform, and you'll see that's way more than tree hugging.
And they're not. It's a small part of it, and they're not really tree huggers. What you would think, just because it's called green, doesn't mean that.
Oh no, there's totally a ginormous economic or environmental part. But
right,
here's the thing: we are eco-socialists.
But that's not why it's called green. I guess is my point. Green came because of why? Because parties were named by colors, right?
No, it started as kind of...
Oh, then I am wrong with my information.
But that's okay. Okay, so the Green Party started back in the... there was rumblings in the late 60s, but more into the early 70s, and it really coalesced around nuclear weapons to stop both.
Right.
And then from there, the environmental stuff, and it was called the Green Party. And from there, it morphed into more of the environmental stuff. And then as time went on, particularly when around into the mid-90s, when Ralph Nader ran for president as a Green. And Ralph has never been a registered Green. He's run on the Green Party line, but he's an interesting dude. I like him. I respect him. But he's an interesting dude. Interesting to work with. When more economic stuff started to come in, and it was still for decades, reforming capitalism. And then about 10 or so years ago, these young people who were in the Green Party were kind of like, fuck this shit. My words. We're like, fuck this shit. We need to be socialist because this capitalism stuff is bullshit. And these young kids within the Green Party started organizing within the party. And there were these old hippies who fought it, were just not having it. Yeah. And it was privileged old white people. And the young socialists within the Green Party got it passed at the national level so that now on our platform, we no longer try to, quote, fix capitalism. We are totally socialist economically. And combining that with the environmental part comes to this term eco-socialists. So it's really taking care of the environment, going after climate change, doing all these things, but doing it using economic ways that both help us survive economically while saving the environment, and it gets mushed together in this amazing Venn diagram.
Oh, that explains why you don't like the the ride sharing idea. Okay.
Well, I don't want to say
as much. No.
Yeah.
No,
yep. I get it, and I see the benefits of that, but I would so totally like to have
because I'm looking at it
transportation
because I see the capital. It's hard. It's like going cold turkey from
we're
smoking.
trained. Me too. Look,
I know,
dude.
I guess I'm looking at it as realistically. We're Americans. We're spoiled. And it's just, I guess it's just not realistically going to happen to sell it. Look at where we are. They freaking voted in Trump, for crying out loud.
Well, okay, again, it's not realistic until it's realistic.
Right.
So
I guess I'm hoping there's a way to soften the fall.
It will not the changes that we need will not magically happen. There's just
no, this isn't a magic happen.
No,
magically would have what you're saying happen quickly.
Look, we didn't have Social Security or employment insurance. We didn't have any of those things until
the Depression.
Well, but until the communists, the socialists, and the unionists got together and pushed for them and made them happen. And now you don't hear about Eugene Debs, you don't hear about any of those folks, but they're the ones who pushed for it to happen. So look, if the Greens never become quote unquote in power, or whatever you want to call it, or there's no real People's Party, however you want to go that route, but the work that we do to do that hopefully will transform society, even if it has a crappy traditional name on it.
Okay.
Right? So
it'll have an impact one way or another.
Yeah. So FDR, back in the day, FDR said, yeah, all those things you guys are talking about, great. I really like them. He literally said this, make me do it. He told folks, the activists, make me do it. Okay. I agree with you, even though he was a rich fellow.
Challenge accepted.
That's kind of how it went. So, all right, so we did. And then the minute it all got enacted, rich folks started chipping away at it. That's where the 60s and 70s and all that jazz started.
And here we are again.
Yeah. So it's like there's nobody in power now saying, I agree with you. Bernie's not saying there, I agree with you, make me do it. Bernie, don't get started. So, but yeah, so the work that I'm doing and Greens are doing, look, whatever. I don't give a fuck if the Green Party is like the overlord party of our country or the universe. I just want the shit done.
Right.
And I've said this a million times. If the Greens ever change their platform to something I couldn't tolerate, I will I'm gone. This is not my favorite team. I'm not betting on the Green Party to win. I'm not trying to, this is nothing.
Well, I'm still a registered Democrat. I keep debating on whether I'm getting out, and I only registered as a Democrat recently, not very recently, but in the last, I don't even remember. It was to vote in the primary.
Mm-hmm.
To vote for who I wanted.
I know. Yeah.
Right?
I hear that all the time.
So
I hear that from Greens who leave the Greens because I want to vote in the primary.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been like, I kind of want to get out of the Democrats. But then I'm like, do I really want to get? Maybe there's a little hope there. I still might want to vote in a primary coming up. I don't know. Thinking maybe there might be a little. Maybe you can change from the inside. I don't know. But I don't know.
So there's. We are over an hour.
Yeah.
But real quick, and then we'll wrap up. So, look, there's levels. So you can remain a Democrat and still help.
But I'm not at heart. I want to be. I wish I could be.
So you can remain a Democrat because once in a while you want to vote in the primary, but you could still help green candidates. You can still vote for them in the general election.
I think I'm an independent.
You can still whatever. I mean, does registering as a green if you can in your state? Some states don't even allow you to do that. If you and in a way they kind of don't here in New York, but you can write it in other, and people are, which I've been very impressed with. People are doing that.
Really?
But, yeah. So look, there's levels. You can stay if you don't feel comfortable leaving one of the corporate parties. Just doesn't matter. Vote for a third party you like. Contribute. Donate. I've donated to Greens in other places that has no influence on my locality.
That's what I want to do is support, but I want to kick some shit out in the Democratic Party before I leave. I want to kick in some doors first. No?
I don't know. Whatever that's up to you. How you want to do that. So, all right. So we're going to be back next week. We are over an hour. I hope this wasn't too in the weeds for y'all.
Sorry about that.
No. Sorry. It's our look.
It's been an interesting couple of weeks.
It's not like we charge you to listen.
Been all over the place. I've been all over the place. Sorry.
Well, let's. I want to talk about Ukraine next week. Totally, because I think there's some interesting stuff happening there.
Very interesting.
And it's one of those things.
One of my new heroes. I tell you,
it's one of those things where. Our brains love right, wrong, black, white, one or two.
I'm not playing cards.
And like, our brains don't like gray. Our brains don't like a little of both. So I think we should talk about that next week.
It's a very clear good, bad right there.
But I'll try to absolutely bring something that's either funny or sexy or...
Can we? Or no, I'll start finally. Being funny.
Damn.
Sorry. Sexy.
Well, that's what are you going to wear?
Ooh, we haven't gone to the Erotic Arts Festival yet. I got to get a bustier.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if they have bustier. They have.
Isn't that what you guys said?
No. The
I said it right, correct?
No, yeah, but no. What did not a bustier? What's the crap? The corsets.
Isn't that what it is?
A bustier is a corset?
Yeah.
Are they the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought they were different things.
Bustier.
No, but I think the corset is more about contracting, where the bustier is to boost.
They do both.
Well, the corset does tend to do both, but I think they might not be exactly. You know what? When we go to the festival, we will ask the corset lady. I was going
to say we need to do some research.
We will. No, I'm going to ask the corset lady.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah,
research it at the festival.
Yeah. All right, so we got to go.
We'll have
be
to try
back
them both on.
In theory next week.
We will both be trying them on, Dave.
I think for dudes did. I'm not interested. I'm not going to waste your time because I'm not buying one.
Dang.
What?
I just want you to try it on.
Why?
I don't know. Because it sounded fun. I'm just kidding.
So, but anyway, we'll be back next week in theory, and I'm going to try and make that happen for sure. I mean, I know we have a lot of wrangling, and for the next, I'm not going to lie to you, till November, it's going to be hit and miss each week. It really is. But we could do everything in my power to make sure we have a show every week. But otherwise, you have other things to do. You can listen to old shows that are at StuartBurdasco.com and also listen to Stuart Burdasco Radio. If you really want to listen to old stuff that is no longer on the internet, you can become a Patreon subscriber.
Patreon.
And if more people do it, I will start posting there way more. We literally do not have a lot of folks there, so I do not post a lot. But if y'all start, maybe even for $1 a month, I will start putting like some seriously old shit of some really cool old shows.
See, I don't know what Patreon is, so I'm going to have to look at it.
All right, bye.
Bye.
It's hard being hedonistic these days. Everyone's so uptight. People talk a good game on the internet, but when it comes down to getting down, there's only posers to be found. And there's never enough hand sanitizer. That's why we started eorgy.com. At eOrgy, you get to talk to like-minded people who just want to get naked and roll around with a bunch of others.
Apparently, on Craigslist, orgy means Nazi rally. That really sucked. But at eorgy.com, I found my 7 new orgy buddies. There's Tall Guy, Groovy Boobs Chick, Crazy Butt, Sir Moans a Lot, and Lefty, The Nibbler, and Tara Reid.
Bask in the glow of your first orgy from eorgy.com and get a free orgy overnight bag. eorgy.com. It's glorgious.